Classified as a second felony offender. His parole eligibility date is January the 25th of 2022. He is not eligible for good time. His full term date is July 25th of 2025. He is currently serving a 7-year sentence for the charge of indecent behavior with a juvenile, having been sentenced on March 31st of 2021. Is all of that accurate, Mr. Pierce?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Mr. Pierce, your case was assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise. Ms. Wise will begin our interview process. Would you please answer any questions you may have?
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's day by day.
Yes, it is. All right. We just gonna ask you some questions. Today is all about you. This time is all about you. So cut out for the record how long you served on this 7-year sentence.
So far, I've served 4 years. I'm sorry. July 25th to be 4 years. So
Back 4 years, okay, on a 7-year sentence, okay.
yes, ma'am.
And how old are you today?
I'm sorry.
How old are you today?
I am 33. I'll be 34 in September.
In September. And you're a second offender. How much time did you serve on that drug charge on your first offense?
I didn't serve any time. I got 2 years of probation and 40 hours of community service for that charge.
Okay. Okay. And I think you completed that probation satisfactorily, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
you got service.
I had to do,
Uh,
got it out the way.
yeah, good. That's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. Now, when I look at your history there, you got out probation in 2015, and you didn't get a new conviction to 2021. So what was life like then in between that time? You do have some arrests, but they were refused. What were you doing? How were you supporting yourself? Where were you living? Things like that. From 2015 to the conviction in 2021.
Yes, ma'am. I've always done construction work. Yes, ma'am. That's all I've ever done. I worked for my father, and I branched out and worked for a couple of separate contractors. I did plumbing for a while, sprinkler systems. I've done it all.
Okay, right. So there was let's look at your criminal history, which is it's not very extensive, but the nature of the offenses are very concerning. You had an indecent behavior with the juvenile, common knowledge of the juvenile when you were 18, and that charge was refused. What was your relationship to that young lady, or was it a young lady, to that juvenile?
She is my son's sister. She is 2 years older.
Your son, and what now?
She's my son's sister. You talking about the victim? Yes, ma'am. She is my son's sister. She's my ex-fiance's daughter.
Okay, she was. Now, I'm talking about the incident back in 2006 when you were 18. You was arrested by Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office on July 13th of 2006. Indecent behavior with the juvenile and common knowledge of the juvenile. The charges were refused, but I was asking you, what was your relationship to that juvenile?
I'm sorry. I misunderstood.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay.
She was my girlfriend. We were living together at the time, and
How old was she?
When I met her, she was 15 and I was 16. But I had turned 17, while we were going out, and an ex-girlfriend that was jealous told the police, and they came and questioned me, and I admitted, but her family came in my defense, and we talked to the district attorney, and they decided to just drop the charges.
Okay.
That's all.
So what about the simple battery, the domestic abuse battery? What was that in 2013?
That situation, that I was defending me and my ex-fiance pertaining to this situation.
Okay.
The guy had his hand in the bag, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen next. So I did the first thing that came to mind, and I hit him in the head with a bottle. I'm not going to lie. At the time, I thought he deserved it. And so I don't know. Like I said, I did what I had to do. I thought.
Well, it was refused by the DA's office, so evidently they concurred. And then we're getting down to some disturbing the peace by being drunk. Those are concerning to me. What is that about?
Well, what can I say? I've done things that I'm ashamed of.
What was you drunk on?
I'm sorry.
How were you intoxicated or drunk on? What
Oh,
were you using at that time?
well, it was one of those incidents. I was at a bar, and I got a little over intoxicated, and I got into it with a friend. And when the cops came, I guess I was a little, I told them that there wasn't no problem, and they, I don't know, they got rowdy with me. I got rowdy with them. I was in another state of mind, to be honest with you. I messed up, and I went to jail, and I got out. That happened a couple of times. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So tell me about your alcohol use. Would you say what would you say about your alcohol use?
I used to drink a lot. I went to a outpatient treatment program, and I completed it. I was there for 2 years, and I have a couple of certifications from completing the program.
What was the name? What was the name of it?
ACER. ACER. They were on Division, right off of the Service Road in West Napoleon and Metairie, Louisiana.
Okay. Okay, good. 2 years. You still get out for 2 years.
Yes, ma'am.
What 2 years was that? Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am. That was I did that the year my son was born. I was already in the program, so I must have been 2015 through 17. So I messed up a couple of times in between time, and
Yeah, you got some rest for it. So what's your plan going forward to stay clean and sober?
well, as soon as I get out, I was planning on getting back into a program or anything really to occupy.
What programs have you thought about?
I'm sorry.
Which programs have you thought about getting into?
Anything that I can, really, to occupy my time. I need to go to work. I need to reestablish my life. Obviously, I've been gone for a long time now, and so yeah, my plans are to really take up my time between work and getting into any programs that I can get into pertaining to drug treatment and also anything pertaining to this charge, whatever I have to do,
That's good to hear. What programs have you had in this last 4 years? What have you had?
Nothing. I have nothing to show for my 4 years.
Have you
I
tried to get into the sex offender treatment program?
I fought my charge for almost 3 years in the parish, and they had no programs there. I've been in this facility for a little over a year now, and here they told me that I'm not eligible for any of the classes that they have here. And no, ma'am, they don't have the sex class here. So
Okay.
my only recourse, I wrote a ARP. I have it here in front of me, to David Wade, explaining my situation and my act, and I just told them that I don't know what to do, and I'm hoping that you can provide me with a solution. And I sent that off in November of last year, and I never received the reply back. I even sent a copy certified to the warden here at the jail to make sure that I had a paper trail. And yes, ma'am, I didn't. I don't. I haven't heard anything. I've just been sitting here twiddling my thumbs for 4 years, to be honest with you. I have nothing to show for it.
Yeah. Well, tell me, what were the bases that you was fighting this charge on for 3 years? What were your bases?
Well, the charge was an accusation, and it's one of those situations where they can't prove I did it, and I can't prove I didn't do it. What can I say? Before I was facing life. Medical report said otherwise, and 5 days before trial, they offered a lesser charge, and I'm sure you can imagine fighting the charge for almost 3 years, and I was scared, and it was going to be up to a jury. It was one or the other. I was facing 25 to 99, or I could just take 7 and take a chance of being able to go home and see my family again.
Okay.
I made a conscious decision to take the 7.
So are you saying that you didn't do this?
Yes, ma'am. I am saying that, but I do deserve to be here. I've done many things in my life, and I deserve to be here. As a matter of fact, I wasn't living my life right before I came to jail, and if anything, this may have even saved my life. So I'm trying to make the best of it. Like I said, one day at a time.
We're good. I just want to state that due to no fault of your own, you haven't had a chance to have a sex offender treatment program, so you can get some insights into how you landed in this, and now the substance abuse with all the past substance abuse charges against you. That's concerning for me as well, and we need to try to get that addressed before we get out. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have a couple of questions.
Ms. Jackson?
Mr. Pierce, help me understand the family dynamic in this case. Do you and the victim's mother have a child together?
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Your son is the victim's half brother, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Share a grandmother, Miss Leger, is that correct? Your son and the victim have the same grandmother on the mother's side, correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Leger lives 2 houses down from your parents' house, is that correct?
Chase Odo, the father, his mother and father live 2 houses down from my mother and father. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Kay Leger lives in
I understand now. So the victim's paternal grandparents live 2 doors down from your parents.
yes, ma'am.
Who has custody of your son?
Kay Leger has full custody. That's his grandmother on his mom's side. She has full custody.
Okay, and he lives with Ms. Leger, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. He gets to visit. He gets to visit my mother and father once every second weekend. He gets to stay for the whole weekend.
Okay. And so one of the expressed concerns is on those weekends when your son is visiting his paternal grandparents, if you're at your parents' house, and that might cause some contact between you and the victim, if she were at that house as well.
Correct. well, we would have to establish all of those rules and get everything situated if I get out. Um, I guess that's the only way. And, even if I have to relocate or whatever I have to do, uh, I've thought about all that. I just as of right now, I'm stuck here. So I need to. I
So
need
you've been the whole time,
Sorry.
been in Kennesaw the last 4 years.
No, ma'am. I've been in Tensall for a little over. I came here April 20th of 21, and so I've been here a little over a year.
Where were you before then?
I was in Jefferson Parish.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I was in the Jefferson Parish Correction. That's where I was sent. That's the parish jail. For my parish. So I was there for 2 years and 9 months.
I think. Now, what I'm just listening to you, what I'm hearing you say is that you don't really believe that you need to complete sex offender treatment because you commit sex offender. Is that a fair?
No, ma'am, that's not true. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Anything that you or anyone says that I need to do, I'm very willing.
I understand that. My question is, do you think you need sex offender treatment?
Actually, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I actually, if I take that class and I do have a lot of things to talk about. So, not necessarily pertaining to this situation, but yes, ma'am. I would love. Yes, ma'am. I would love to get into the class.
And because I would be concerned about you just being a body in the room, not really absorbing or learning from or applying anything you learn. If sex offender treatment isn't something that you feel you need, some people just shut down. They're in the room, but they're not in the class. That makes sense to you. But you're telling us you are willing to complete sex offender treatment if transferred to a facility where that's available.
Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
Well, thank you, Mr. Pierce. I appreciate your.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Who is there with you? Is there someone there that can tell us a little bit about how you're doing there in Kennesaw?
Well, the officer that's with me, Miss Litt, she doesn't know me too much because she's in property, but a lot of everybody else knows me here. And you can. What can I go get? Ms. Turner.
While we're waiting, go ahead and listen to the opposition. We'll first hear from Mr. Chase Odo. Mr. Odo, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. I hear you now.
Mr. Odo, if you'll just introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like us to know about this matter.
Chase Odo, or Odo's father. I talked to the DA and all, and about how I feel about him getting early release, and I don't really feel too comfortable about that. He put a real effect on my daughter's life, and the way she lives life. After the incident, I had to get her counseling and therapy. And she missed a lot of school, She would get real nervous and throw up in the morning and throw up in class. School has that written down a bunch of times because of her nerves. She was never sick. We thought she was sick. We brought her to the doctor, over and over again. And they said, no, she might have like real bad nervous problem causing her to get, I guess, her stomach to hurt. So she had that for a while. We're just starting to get that back under control. And she had a problem where every now and then she would just randomly cry. And I asked her, and she would just tell me, about the situation with Scott. That really took like a toll on her life, and it was hard on all of us, especially me being a father, and my job to protect her, and I felt like I failed. I fought for years to get full custody of her while Chrissy was together with Scott, Mr. Scott. And I didn't get that, at all till after Aurora randomly just talked to Cara, which is my ex now, but we're together. She told Cara what happened, and then Cara called me and said, "Hey, when you get off of work, just come on by," and Aurora has something to say. So I went over there and she told me everything, and it just took a toll, on me especially and her.
Thank you, Mr. Odo. We appreciate your comments. Next, we have Ms. Kay Leger, the victim's grandmother. Ms. Leger,
Yes, hello, I'm Kay Leger, and I am the victim Aurora Odo's maternal grandmother. And I'd like to thank the board for taking time to hear my concerns. Aurora was only 4 when we found out that Scott was hurting her. Scott's actions not only harmed Aurora, but have also affected her family. Aurora's mother suffers from depression caused by Scott harming her daughter, and she's having severe anxiety with the thought of Scott's early release. I'm concerned for Aurora's fear that Scott will re-enter her life. I'm also concerned for Scott's son, Roman, whom he's not supposed to have contact with. And his son has told me that he talks to his dad, Scott, on the phone when he visits Scott's parents. And Roman has also told me that Scott has stated that he will go to live with him when Scott gets out, and that we will not know where he is. It's my understanding, and hearing the testimony, I know that Scott was on parole when he met Aurora and her mother, and that he has been arrested for other crimes. Before we discovered that he was harming Aurora. Therefore, I'm afraid that if he is released early, he will believe that he is not to suffer the full consequences of his actions. I believe Scott was not working when he harmed Aurora. I've never known Scott to hold a job for very long at that time since I met him. And I believe that if Scott is denied parole, it will benefit Aurora, her brother, and that they will both be older and more able, more mature to handle his release. And I implore you to make the right decision for Aurora and her family and deny Scott parole and make him complete his full sentence in jail. Again, thank you for taking the time to listen to my concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. We appreciate your comments. Is there anyone back in the room with Mr. Pierce? Mr. Pierce, did anyone ever come back in there?
Not yet, I'm sorry. Miss Lit?
All right.
Not yet, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
We'll
Most-
hear now Mr. Randy Meyer. Mr. Meyer?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Randy Meyer, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish, and we are opposed to Mr. Pierce's request for parole. Besides the nature of the offense and his past criminal conduct, the fact he's taken no programs is very concerning. That's not giving him any of the tools needed to have a chance to have a productive and a productive life when he does get released. I would ask that the board recommend that he gets transferred to a facility where he can get some sex offender treatment and some substance abuse treatment, because he clearly needs that. He testified that he did outpatient treatment for a couple of years, I believe, and completed in 2015. 2016, he has another arrest by disturbing the peace by being drunk. In 2018, he had a drug offense arrest. Tells us that the programs weren't sufficient. He didn't learn what he needed to learn in those programs. So he clearly needs to have additional programming for substance abuse. So for those reasons and a very strong victim opposition, we are also opposed to his request.
My conduct.
She's here for you.
I have a Miss Clark here for me.
Acting Lieutenant.
She's an acting lieutenant. If you'd like to speak with her.
Kenny, can you tell us a little bit about Mr. Pierce?
How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. How about you?
All right. Mr. Scott here, good person. He don't cause no trouble or anything.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pierce, is there anything you'd like to say before the board votes?
Yes, sir. I would like to add that it wasn't my fault that I was sent to this facility. I would have loved to have busied my time with studying or taking whatever classes or treatments that I could take. They offer like 5 different classes here, and I could benefit from any one of them. But Ms. King, the lady who does the classes, told me that I'm a low risk offender, which means, she said, less likely to come back to jail, and which she said makes me not eligible to take any of the programs, and that doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what I was told. Like I said, I was sent here, and I've just been twiddling my thumbs for 4 years, and it's really not my fault. It's almost as if I've been set up for failure. If I have to stay 3 more years, it is what it is. But everybody talking about denying my parole, what's the difference? If I haven't learned something in 4 years, do you think I'm gonna learn it in 3 more years? I don't understand what's the difference. But ultimately, the decision is up to y'all. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do either
Respect
way.
to the victim's family.
I'm gonna do whatever I have to do either way. So I appreciate y'all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pierce.
Yes,
Ms.
yes.
Miser?
All right. To all the participants here today, I really appreciate your input in the process. And it's the unfortunate circumstances. My vote is to deny because of the lack of programming, the law enforcement opposition, the age and the impact of the crime on the victim and the nature of the crime. I do recommend to DOC that you be moved to a facility that will allow you to complete sex offender treatment and substance abuse in light of your full term date, which is July 25th of 2025. That is my vote, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ms. Jackson.
Likewise, Mr. Pierce, I understand that your lack of programming is not your fault. But I do think it's crucial that you have programming. You talked about being set up for failure, and I absolutely agree that if we don't put you in a position to get programs that will help you, we are setting you up for failure. So my vote today is to deny with the recommendation that you be transferred to a facility where you can obtain both sex offender and substance abuse treatment.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Jack. Mr. Pierce, I agree with my colleagues. My vote likewise to deny, with the recommendation that you be transferred to a facility where you will be able to take the sex offender treatment program. Once you complete that program, whenever you're eligible to reapply for your parole, and perhaps you'll have a different outcome.
Yes, sir, I understand.
Good
Understand.
luck.
That sounds great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well,
Have a good day.
Thank you.
time is 12:13. We are done at Kensaw. Thank you very much for the staff that was there to assist us.
I don't understand it. I don't understand why the board didn't rip him a new one for denying what he had done. Why is that okay? She was 4 years old. 4. It took 25 minutes into the hearing before we even knew that. Miss Wise is calling her a young lady, so, you know. 4. No, this day is not all about you. It's about the victims. That's how it started off. This day is all about you. He starts off by even saying, well, who was it? Oh, it was my son's sister. You mean your son's half? Like you're trying to, well, how do, no, it, well, I guess how else would he explain it? I don't even understand it, actually. His ex-fiance's daughter, and they share the same grandparent. It's just, I have no idea, but then he talks about how the girlfriend was 15 and he was 16 and he turned 17. And I don't buy it. I think he's just lying and somehow got away with it. I don't think that's illegal in Louisiana. I think you need a 3-year age difference. You can't be 7. It's someone correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I don't. But who cares? Anyways, she's 4 years old, and you don't just. He's sitting here saying, "I'm innocent. I didn't do it, but I was going to face life." And thank goodness the DA showed up. Randy Myers shows up to everything in his parish.